There we go. I did not add myself to the stage. That was smart. We're also going to talk about 3 fast mimicking diets, and we're going to go from there. So welcome to the live stream. Thank you for being here. Can't believe I started it like that. That is slightly annoying, but it's okay. Things happen. Things happen. Anyway, I'll just wait for the chat to fill up. Hope you guys are doing well. I might have to go to the kitchen in about like 10 minutes to check on something that I'm cooking. I'm making this beet winter salad that I got off of Instacart because they have recipes linked up. I do have a video on that. I'm still behind with editing. I have to start editing. No more filming until I edit the vlogs that I have. But yeah, I just want to get into a routine. When I get into a routine with editing, I can just bust out like a bunch of videos at once. Like I can bust out like 3 in a day. But yes, I'm just making sure there's nothing revealed here. I want to make this salad. I'm in the process of making it because it's high in fiber and beets are just very good for you. Very good for you. And it's something I don't eat a lot. And I'm trying to eat diverse sources of carbohydrates and diverse sources of foods to help my gut microbiome. But yes. Oh, I see that Celine says she's here. Welcome to the live stream, Celine. Nice to have you here. Nice to see you, girl. How are you doing? Welcome to the live stream, Shan McCookie. Nice to have you here. Welcome. So I'm just going to dive into it. This video, I wanted to call it the fasting flexibility because I strongly believe in fasting flexibility having variation with your fast because we are just designed to be variated with our fast. I believe in that. However, there are certain cases where you want to stick to one kind of fast if it's helping you get your weight loss off, like people who stick with ADF, people who stick with OMAD. But yeah, I was reading something about one of the fast mimicking diets I'm going to talk about, PSMF, the protein sparing diet. And the rule for that diet is they don't go longer than 6 months because it's a low calorie diet and it's like 800 calories. And I think that's a good rule. I know I said 3 months for OMAD. And then maybe taking a break. You got to feel it out. This is all individual. Whatever I say, you have to apply it to your life and tweak it. That's what I do. When I hear things from people I watch, like Dr. Jason Fung, Dr. Mindy Pels, a Huberman Lab podcast with Dr. Robert Lusting, I take what I can get from that, or the Glucose Goddess. I take what I can get from that and I apply. Or watching intermittent fasting foodie and her journey. If I have red on my hand, that's the beat. And just like apply it. So you have to be able to figure it out on your own. When people ask me specific questions on my channel, like should I eat this for like all the time to lose weight? I can't answer that for you. All I can do is give you the information, show you examples of what I eat. Hopefully it inspires you to figure it out yourself. Like you have to figure out, there's people on my channel who've done protein fasts, like Julie. She's found her method of losing weight. There's people who have, done similar to what I have. It's just like, you have to think for yourself. You have to be able to take information and apply it. But yes, Celine says, I'm just glad I finally made it. I'm so glad you finally made it too. I'm so glad. So I've got a bunch of notes because I was doing a lot of reading. So we're going to go over 6 fasts that Dr. Mindy Pels talks about. I wish I knew how to use this. I don't think I want to use it. I don't know. I don't know if that's cinema. Let's go back. I don't know what I did, but we'll just leave it as is. But I have my phone here, and we're going to follow everything I've learned about fasting has been from Dr. Mindy Pels. Learned about OMAD through her in the beginning, and just following other people's journeys who've been successful, people that you see on YouTube. But yeah, I just want to get a screenshot here of what I'm going to be talking about. I don't know how to put things up yet. I didn't get to that point. I'll get there one day. But no, yeah, screenshot. There we go. And I'm going to show you what, like Dr. Mindy Pels posted this on her YouTube page, but I want to, here's the camera. Ooh, I don't know if you guys can see that. Probably not, but I want to talk about 6 different types of fasting. We're going to go into intermittent fasting, autophagy fasting, gut reset fast, fat burner fast, dopamine fast, and immune system reset fast or immune reset fast. A fast that I need to do, a 3 to 5 day long fast, because that is a good fast for helping heal nagging muscular skeletal injuries. And as you can see, I have tons. I was literally just doing this. I wasn't even using this hand with some parsnips, and my shoulder just flared up. So clearly it's going to need surgery, but it's okay. I hope, I don't know. I would think the shoulder would need surgery because it's been this long, and the shoulder is a very complicated joint. It's not going to stop me. I'll just do a bunch of body weight squats and lunges. Like, you can burn your legs up with body weight exercises. That's why we're going to focus on, going hard before we figure that out. But yeah, you just have to have a persistent mindset through it all. So let's talk about fast number 1, intermittent fasting. We'll talk about the benefits of each fast. Again, this is all from Dr. Mindy Pelz's Fast Like a Girl. I highly recommend getting this book and reading it yourself. Even if you're not a girl, if you're a man, read it for yourself, because then you can understand the different fasting methods. I think eventually she will come up with a book that's more gender neutral, but I understand why she targeted women, because a lot of the fasting advice out there did not take into consideration the female cycle. And let me just make a quick note of that. I said something about this on Instagram. I corrected my cycle. I'm so glad. So after pushing my body with OMAD for too long, then doing carnivore diet in the wrong way, and putting myself in a very low calorie deficit when I was working out like a bodybuilder and being active, I finally fixed my cycle. I think this is the first cycle where things are back on track, and the first cycle where I didn't lose my mind with a PMDD and struggles. And this is thanks to Dr. Mindy Pelz's rules that I explain. And I'm going to forever follow these rules because I don't want to mess with my femininity, my female hormones, or anything like that. I'm trying to lean into my femininity more because I grew up in a way that was not in a way that I can be feminine. So always in fight or flight, single mom. It was just like me trying to figure things out on my own. Didn't have a father figure or anything. So I figured I just got to figure it out on my own. But I want to learn how to just lean in that graceful feminine energy because I think it's important to do so as a woman. But yes, I actually fixed my cycle by following her rules. So eating carbs the week before my cycle, not dieting too hard the week before my cycle. Day 1 of my cycle, which is today, we're easing into things actually. I'm just eating normally. I'll probably eat in more of a deficit today. And then tomorrow, we're going to be preparing this body for some exercise, day 1 of my program with Marcella. But let's jump into intermittent fasting and what is it? So intermittent fasting is fasting for 12 hours to 16 hours per day. And basically, the liver makes the switch from making ketones between 8 and 10 hours. Those ketones don't start to enter your blood until about 15 hours. It used to be 17. Data research that's my food that I have to probably stop. Hang on, let me go do that very quickly. I'm just going to turn off the oven. All right, I'm back. Smells like beets and parsnips, all the healthy vegetables. But let's get back to what I was talking about. This is your reminder to drink some water. Water is so important on a health journey. Water, we're made out of water. Our cells need water. Not enough of us drink water. And me being on creatine has forced me to drink a lot of water because it makes you really thirsty. But yes, so what was I saying? So as a liver, I can't even read my own writing. Wow, that is awesome. Oh my God. Oh, as the liver notices the absence of glucose, it keeps releasing glycogen and insulin stores by breaking down more fat. So yes, basically what happens between 8 hours and 10 hours of fasting, that's when your blood sugar levels start to go low. When your blood sugar starts to get low, it gives a signal to your liver to start making ketones. And then as your liver is making those ketones, that's when it starts to enter the bloodstream. And the benefits of intermittent fasting, it's good for weight loss, good for brain fog, and good for increasing energy levels. So intermittent fasting, again, is capped at 16 hours, and I'll explain why, because I'll jump into the next fast. So basically, when you repeatedly dip into these fasted states, you improve your metabolic health. So this is why intermittent fasting is crucial, or fasting in general. It helps improve your blood pressure, fasted blood glucose levels, which is key, because if they're high, that means you have excess sugar in your system and you need to get rid of it. It helps C-reactive protein, which is a protein that you can measure as an indication of inflammation. I'm sure if I measure mine, it's probably high, but we need to bring that down. Hemoglobin A1C, and of course, better insulin sensitivity. So there's that. I'm just gonna look at the chat. Yay for a happy cycle. I know, yay for that, because honestly, when our cycles are off as women, it really, 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 really messes us up. And like that week before our cycle, we should not be feeling symptoms of premenstrual, like maybe the typical bloating and stuff. I didn't this time around, but we should not be feeling it to an extent where it just makes us struggle. If we are catering our nutrition to eating for the hormones that are dominant, so the last week of your cycle, the dominant hormone is progesterone, and progesterone likes it when you have carbs and you kind of take it easy. So when you basically like eat foods that are in line with the hormones, your body's not going to react like it usually does, like mine does. It's not going to react like a crazy person and make you feel tired, make you feel hungry. The reason why you're feeling hungry, maybe because you're not eating the right foods and whatnot. Like I was able to go through this like smoothly. Yeah, my appetite increased a bit. Wasn't too dramatic. I just ate more quinoa salad. That's all I did. I had more protein shakes. And yeah, so it's so important to do that. Celine says, take a sip of water. Good job, girl. Good job. It's so important, especially if you're exercising and stuff. All right, so let's jump into intermittent fasting is between 12 and 16 hours. And the benefits of that is weight loss, increased insulin sensitivity, blood pressure, all of that. Now we're going to jump into the 17-hour fast, which is also known as the autophagy fast. Now you can get into autophagy in two ways. You can get into autophagy. Well, there's other ways too, but I'm going to talk about not eating and eating. So fasting, you can get into autophagy at 17 hours. That's when it begins, from 17 hours, maxes out at 72 hours. That is the second fast. Or you can get into autophagy through diet by doing a diet called an autophagy fast diet. So this is part of the fast mimicking section. I'll just mention it briefly because it doesn't hurt to repeat it. I'll be talking about it later. So basically, when you do that, an autophagy fast is essentially you have your carbs less than 50 grams. And the most important thing about an autophagy fast, you have your protein at 20 grams or less per day. And it's a fast where I believe you're eating around 8 to 1,000 calories. And you want to prioritize fats when you're doing an autophagy fast. So the benefits of autophagy fast is to get your body into a state of cellular repair, a state of healing. But yes, and you can also get into autophagy fast starting with 17 hours of fasting. So yeah, I do mention it here, diet. So the benefits of the second type of fast, the autophagy fast, 17 hours or more, is that you get an enhanced immune system response, and your immune system function is better and it's strengthened. You get the creation of new healthy cells, which is what we want, because when we are eating foods that are full of garbage and junk, it ruins our cells. And that's why a lot of people struggle with so many illnesses. It's like out of control. So many illnesses. I don't know why I whispered that. But it's just so sad to see and exhausting to see like so many people just struggling with things, and we just don't understand why. Well, we're starting to. Or at least it's starting to go mainstream. And I think people had figured this out a long time ago. However, it's becoming more mainstream. Increase detection and clearing of infections and pathogenic agents. So if you're someone that gets sick a lot, I know people who get like sick like 3-4 times a year. Luckily, I'm not one of those people. If I start doing that, then maybe there's something going on. But if you're a person that gets sick a lot, try doing a 17-hour or more autophagy fast. Even better, get your way up to the immune reset fast, which is at 72 hours of fasting. Yes, and more energy for the mitochondria, which is true. Autophagy of course, is going to help repair the mitochondria, which I talk about. So many diseases are based on a damaged mitochondria. And when the damage to the mitochondria happens, it affects us on so many levels because the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It's basically how the cell gets its energy to do cellular functions. So if your mitochondria is messed up, how do you expect your cells to help you lose weight? How do you expect your cells to help you, regulate your hormones or help you feel good? How do you expect your cells to do what your cells are supposed to do? So that is key to that. So yes, to stimulate. Oh yeah, and you can also, because the people who tend to hate on fasting, obviously fasting is the fastest way to get into autophagy. I'm just going to look at this comment very quickly. Miss Meatsto says, Manny, do we get a video tonight? I don't know if Manny's here. So I don't know why you're asking that. Manny isn't here. Manny's doing his thing. I speak to Manny and I told him to get off the nonsense with what he was doing. Like, I'm not even going to go into that because this is about, I really want to focus on helping people. But I literally told him to just focus on himself and cut off all of that social media nonsense. And he's like, I'll think about it. Because when you're losing weight, you can't be putting yourself in a situation where you are surrounding yourself with toxic people. A friendly competition is great. Like what, him and Jamal, I just recently subscribed to Jamal's channel because I saw him pop up on my timeline and I watched the video and I love the guy's energy. When you're losing weight, you can't be around negativity. If you are around negativity, it will freaking destroy you because the way you got to a very heavy weight is because you are so negative from within, meaning that you're beating yourself up. You're not putting yourself first. So the worst thing you can do on a weight loss journey is put yourself in a situation where it's negative. I lost the majority of my weight. Not the majority. Yeah, I did not start my weight loss journey on YouTube. Instagram, yeah, I did, but Instagram's different. You like post and ghost. I did not start my weight loss journey where I was constantly posting as I was now. So I just told him to just stay away from that because he needs to focus on himself. He's got stuff going on and he's keeping the weight off. So I'm super proud of him. Danielle, I'm new to weightlifting. Can you speak to exercises that are best for most muscle groups? You literally can't work out. You can work out multiple muscle groups at once if you do compound movements, but I'm not a personal trainer. I'm getting personal training from my girl, Marcella. She's going to help me with my pre-prep. I will become a personal trainer very soon. Once she gets me through my pre-prep, that's when I'm going to be working with a coach that trains IFBB pros. So as I learn, I will definitely share it with you. But if you're new to weightlifting, I can speak on exercises that are best to build most muscle groups. Anything that's compound. So things like, I can't do it with my shoulder now, like a military press going up like that with a barbell or dumbbells. Squats are good because they'll hit multiple muscle groups at once. Planks, different variation of planks. So planks with weights. I know plank rows where you're rowing weights in a plank position. Those are a few I can think of at the top of my head, but I want to focus on fasting right now. But I am going to mention something about exercise because I am talking about autophagy. So autophagy can also be stimulated by exercise. HIIT training stimulates autophagy. I know that there are people out there who are like, oh, you can get autophagy through exercise. Of course, but the autophagy only lasts during exercise. I talked about the autophagy hierarchy before. So the autophagy hierarchy, you get max autophagy very quickly with dry fasting, number one, followed by a good 72-hour fast, and then basic autophagy fasting, and then there's exercise that comes to play. So HIIT training, you'll get yourself into autophagy. Ooh, I really want to do this, but Canada sucks. I need to go to the United States. I also can't find a DEXA scan machine because my girl Marcella wanted me to get my DEXA scan done. And a few of you have asked me about this. I'm going to have to go to Edmonton to do that. I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe I'll go to the United States sometime and do it. But I definitely want to get a DEXA scan. But this is what I'm referring to. Hyperbolic oxygen therapy is a way to stimulate autophagy. I wish we had it here in Calgary. You need a reason for a doctor to do it. So if there's a doctor needs to prescribe you to do it. So if there's any way you can get access to hyperbolic oxygen therapy, you can do it. And it will help stimulate autophagy. And breathing is so key. Breathing is so key. Not enough of us are learning how to breathe. That's why I've been meditating religiously, and it's really been helping with my chronic fatigue, along with all the fiber I've been pumping into my body. Red light therapy, that's something I can do in Calgary because I know of a place that I'm going to go to. Red light therapy helps to stimulate autophagy. Again, autophagy is going to help repair the mitochondria and help just repair any damage that's within your cells, repair damaged cell organelles, cell parts, quality sleep. You get autophagy in your sleep. So that's why sleep is so important. Coffee stimulates autophagy. Interesting. I've been drinking a cup of coffee. I missed my coffee yesterday and I noticed I started getting headaches. So coffee's helping me and it's giving me energy. I mix my coffee with high fat cream and MCT oil. The MCT oil has really been helping me take care of that. I remember learning about MCT oil from Dr. Mindy Pelz. It's been really helping. I'm doing a lot of things, so I don't know what's helping, but it's winning. Cacao, which is a part of chocolate. You can get cacao beans from the organic store, not beans, powder from the organic store. So chocolate, dark chocolate, have dark chocolate. That will stimulate autophagy. And powerphenols, that's something I need to talk about, like curcumin, berberine. I've not talked about berberine, but I just got myself a big bottle of berberine off of Amazon. Give me a second, I'm thirsty. Berberine actually is something I learned from Andrew Huberman, and it can help reduce your blood sugar levels. It's a natural, I'm not sure what it is. What is berberine? It's like a natural bark of something, and it can also help stimulate autophagy. So I've been taking 1 to 2 pills of berberine either after I eat or before I eat. I'm not sure when you're supposed to take it, but it also helps with weight loss. And berberine is just as powerful as metformin, I believe. I learned that from Andrew Huberman from his podcast. He explained that when I was listening to it. And metformin is a drug that doctors give to people who have diabetes to help lower the blood sugar. Well, berberine can rival that, according to studies. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't have diabetes, but all I can do is wear CGM and show you and take some berberine and see what it does. Because we know when we are in that low blood sugar state, that's when magic is happening, right? That's where things are starting to go forth. Because when you're in a low blood sugar state, that's when your body is going to start using its fat restorers. It's going to put yourself in a state of healing. One thing I want to clarify, 17 hours of fasting, you do start to get ketones as well. You'd start getting it at 8, but it starts maxing out at 17 and gets higher and higher. Dr. Mindy Pelz makes this distinction. Just because you are in ketosis doesn't mean you're in autophagy. Is that the right thing I want to say? Yeah, I think so. Basically, autophagy depends on your protein being 20 grams or less, and ketosis depends on being in a low blood sugar state. So there's key to that. But yes, that's what I learned from Dr. Mindy Pelz. I'm trying to see if that makes sense when I think of it on my own. Yeah, when I fast, I go into autophagy. So when I start eating high protein, I kick myself out of autophagy, unless I do an autophagy mimicking fast. There you go, high fat. So yeah, that's how you stimulate. Oh, the benefits to it helps to detox your cells. So a great time to do autophagy or to get into an autophagy fast, put in like a longer fast is of course after Christmas. I love fasting after Christmas. It's a perfect time because you can enjoy Christmas and then detox yourself from all of the stuff or whatever you celebrate during that time of year. Or after a vacation, or after a time that you're just binge eating and out of control, or overeating and out of control. Go into a fast. It's a great way to reverse the metabolic damage or damage that happened from eating the garbage food in our food system. There's that. Ooh, okay. And then now we're going to jump into the next fast. So fast number 3. This fast starts at 24 hours and it's called the gut reset fast. During this fast, I'm just looking at the chat here. Before I get into the gut reset fast, that's 24 hours of fasting. Hey, DJ Zero, welcome. Welcome to the live stream. Nice to see you. Nice to have you here. Do you dry fast? It kind of scares me for some reason. I would not recommend anyone dry fasting if you are not accustomed to water fasting. I did my first dry fast earlier this year, and it was magic. And the only reason why, and another thing, People think with dry fasting, you need to go days on end. I don't recommend that unless you're super ill. Um, I think the most I dry fast was about 44 hours. That's good enough because 1 day of dry fasting is equivalent in autophagy terms to 3 days of water fasting. So like a good even 24 hours of dry fasting is good enough. I don't recommend dry fasting to anyone who's not used to fasting. Dry fasting is something you have to do research on. I'm not giving anyone advice on that. It's something I experimented on myself. There are videos on my channel. If you look at my fasting diaries playlist, you'll see it. I do dry fasting specifically for healing this and whatever's going on with my iliopsoas in all the injuries I have, the arthritis in my knee, and any musculoskeletal injuries. Because again, dry fasting is the max form of autophagy, and that's when you can heal nagging musculoskeletal injuries. Like if I have surgery, you'll see me fasting a lot, trust. That's why I'm going to work on building the muscle as much as I can with Marcella. And then I'm going to have to pivot to if I have surgery or what the deal is with the shoulder and go from there. But dry fasting is very powerful. It is very powerful. Me personally, I will do it for healing. Weight loss, oh my God. You lose a lot of weight on dry fasting, but dry fasting is dangerous because you have to know how to come off it properly. So I'm not advising anyone on dry fasting. If I do a dry fast, I will document it, but I'm not like, I'll show you what I'm doing, but please be advised. Like it's something that you really need to experiment on. And you have to learn yourself. Dr. Mindy Pelz for the longest time was against dry fasting for more than 24 hours. She was like, don't do it. For certain tests, I know when I had to have a CAT scan of my organs when I was obese because I was having, I don't know, my pancreas was inflamed. I don't know what the heck was wrong with me. My pancreas markers were wrong. Well, I do know it was the food and the diet and probably like my pancreas being like overworked with all the, I ate so much. Oh my God, the chocolate, the Cadbury chocolate I used to eat. I was very sick. I was trying to run away from the pain. And that's when I was a sugar addict because I just wanted to get rid of the pain. But going back to what I was saying, I had a medical test and they told me to dry fast for 24 hours before I can have the test. It was hard. I had to cancel the test twice because I couldn't do it. So yeah, but Dr. Mindy Pelz used to be against dry fasting, but she now, I don't know if I'm looking into the camera. Is that looking into the camera? Oh my God, I have to look at my, okay. Sorry, I'm trying to learn how to use this camera. But she's now retracted that because she's looked at studies like you can go longer than a day. But yes, dry fasting. I did not put dry fasting on my list here. Well, we're talking about it. But yeah, I've only done it once and I did it back to back for a week. I did alternate day dry fasting. You can check that there. My longest fast has only been 24 hours. That's really good. 24 hours is amazing. And I'm going to go into the benefits of that right after I read this. It's hard to live with someone who cooks dinner and it smells good. I know that's the hard part. Oh, and that's cool that Colin cooks dinner. That's really cool. I'm the one in control of cooking. So I can literally just not cook and be like, you're on your own, everybody. No, I would set them up with food and everything. But yeah, it would be hard when you're not the cook and the cook is cooking good food. When I do my long fast, I'm probably gonna go to a hotel or something because I need to be alone. That's gonna be like a spiritual journey. But 24-hour fast is good, and here is why. Let's jump into that. So the gut reset fast starts at 24 hours plus. Stem cells in the gut are produced at 24 hours. Great to use to combat antibiotic use or if you have gut issues or anything like that. 90% of our gut bacteria is killed when we take antibiotics. And I was just on multiple rounds of antibiotics because of my wisdom teeth. And I know that. That's why I've been like really militant about the fiber because I'm noticing the gut microbiome, as I explained, helps the mitochondria, it helps insulin levels, it helps the brain, mental health, which I want to throw everything at my mental health possible because I've got enough to deal with. So it kills the good gut and bad. Okay, so yeah, antibiotics kills both the good bacteria and the bad gut bacteria. So obviously we want to get rid of the bad or the bad infection that's in your body. But the problem is it kills the good. So we're in a catch-22 here. I'm not saying don't take antibiotics. If someone has an infection, take antibiotics. Like, you have to take antibiotics. Like, you don't want to put yourself in septic, but you have to septic. I wanted to say, but you have to be aware of coming off of it and restoring your gut health. So Dr. Mindy Pell said, after taking a round of antibiotics, or if you've been on birth control for a while, or if you struggle those two, or leaky gut or anything like that, basically take probiotics for 90 days after. So we're going to jump into birth control. Birth control kills microbial diversity, and which can attribute to a leaky gut. So there's some people who struggle with a leaky gut, and a leaky gut is basically, there's a thin mucus layer. We'll just say that there's a thin mucus layer on the gut that opens up and it allows toxins. So basically, let me explain this because my writing's not making any sense. I know this topic. So a leaky gut is basically essentially in our gut, it's lined with a thin layer of mucus. So when we have a leaky gut, that mucus has holes in it. So basically that barrier prevents things from entering our bloodstream. So when you have a leaky gut, you basically get exposed to toxins. You get exposed to infections, and you get exposed to undigested food. And this will enter the gut, causing a systemic inflammatory response. So people having inflammatory conditions, chronic pain, and stuff like that. I wonder if I have a leaky gut. I wouldn't be surprised. This can be all due to leaky gut. And doing a 24-hour fast can help reverse this. And the more you do it, the more you get the benefits of it. So Celine, only 24-hour fast is not only. 24-hour fasts are really powerful. And I love them because they're so easy to do. So easy to do. It can also help the 24-hour fast with SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So we have bacteria in our large intestine. We are not supposed to have bacteria in our small intestine, but sometimes there is an overgrowth of it. And basically when this happens, it can cause a lot of problems. And one of the major symptoms of this is bloating after eating vegetables or fibrous foods. You should not be bloating after eating vegetables. There's something going on. That's why when there's certain people in the carnivore group, they're like, plants are toxic, blah, blah, blah. They do this. Plants are not, like, we have to be exposed to a small level of toxins. Hello. Like that's just like survival of the sickest. That's how our immune system functions. A small level of toxins are shown. They're talking about people who are sensitive to oxalates and lectin. People who are sensitive to those. And that should not be happening. I'm sorry. We, like, humans only eat meat, but I think we're omnivorous because of our gut microbiome. Our gut microbiome wouldn't exist if we did not need fiber. Like, some people don't eat fiber and they're fine, but like there's a whole debate of that. Do you? I'm just stating what I have learned. And basically, that should not be happening. You should not be bloating after a vegetable. You shouldn't be allergic to vegetables. Like my mom, she's allergic to everything. Everything. She's very metabolically ill. So there's something going on with her. I can't change her, bless her heart. Like, there's nothing you can do for someone who's at that age, a boomer in their 60s. Some people are set in their ways. It doesn't even matter. Even if you're young and you're not willing to change, I can't help you. No one can help you. Only you can help you. I'm here to help people who want to be helped. I'm not here to, I'm not going to try to force myself to help anybody. Like, let's just be key here. If I start coaching, or when I do in the future, if you're not like showing up and trying, I'm just not going to give the same effort, because like I cannot make anyone do something that they don't want to do. If they need help on strategy, yeah, I will give you strategies. If they're struggling and failing, they're like, okay, I tried this, it's not working, or I keep giving into I will fight with you. But if you just don't care, no one can save you but you. But anyway, so the number one cause of SIBO is bloating after eating fibrous fruits like vegetables. So 24-hour fast can help with this. Next fast we're going to talk about, and it's a video I want to do it's a fast I want to do a video on because I think it's an important fast, but I'm going to look at the comments here. Daniela, flora roster will repopulate good bacteria. I take it after antibiotics. I'm looking for my phone. Oh, here it is. I'm going to Google it and see what it is. Yeah, right now I'm just taking one that someone told me to take at a organic store, at some community food store that I go to. They have a bunch of natural supplements, but I'm going to look at that. Yeah, trying to really repopulate my gut because I've been learning so much about gut health and mental health. Oh, I see. Okay. It's actually at Shoppers. Okay. I see. Yeah. It's a probiotic here. Promotes flavorful gut flora, prevents diarrhea from antibiotics, and treats and reduce symptoms. And it's in vegetarian capsules. I like that it's in vegetarian capsules because I was like learning from that guy who runs, what is it called? It's called A Healthy Alternative, the channel. I found him like when I was doing a dry fast because he's like, excuse me, one of the few people that talks about dry fast. And I remember he was saying something about vitamins. Like you just got to be careful for your sources of vitamins because if you get your vitamins from certain sources, they can have toxins in it. And then Dr. Mindy Pels talked about the danger getting, because I was taking vitamin C and I just bought any vitamin C's from Kirkland because that's like the advice I got from a former coach. And then I read that. I was like, wait a second, the toxins, like the number one toxin in like a cheap vitamin brand is lead. So the fact that this Flora Blaster, I know it's not a vitamin, but any supplement, it has vegetarian capsules is a good thing. I like that. It's definitely a good thing. So yeah, I'm gonna be careful where I get my vitamins from. I'll probably go to the community health food stores. But thanks for that. I'm gonna look into that for sure. I have it like just making sure it's not revealing anything. That's it, right? I assume. That's it. Thanks for the smiles, girl. Flora, I'm not probably saying it. Florister, whatever. Can be purchased in capsules or powder. Okay, and mixed into yogurt. I like that. I like the idea of taking probiotics with food, fermented food. I forgot the order. So there's prebiotics, which is, why am I forgetting what prebiotics are? Okay, yeah, prebiotics, which is the food you give your probiotics. Yes, I remember now. It came to me. Thank you, brain. Okay, so prebiotics is fiber. So it's the food you give your probiotics, which is the actual gut microbiome itself or the gut bacteria itself. And then there are postbiotics. Postbiotics are, I learned this from Mindy Peltz because I retain a lot of information, are basically fermented foods. So yogurt's not fermented, but I feel like yogurt helps with the gut, but I can't figure out why. But postbiotics are things like kimchi, sauerkraut, what else? Oh, olives, pickles, anything that's fermented. That will also help the gut bacteria. So I like the idea of mixing it in with yogurt. I like it even better with mixing it with postbiotics. But yeah, thanks for sharing that. Next. So we're jumping into the 36-hour fast. This is a fast I want to start doing more of. It's an easy fast to do if you've ever done a 48-hour fast or a 72-hour fast. It's the next easiest fast to do after doing a 24-hour fast. This is the best fast ever. One of the best fasts ever. Probably the best because it's just simple to do. And it's not as hard as the 72-hour fast. But the fat burner fast, also known as the 36-hour fast, the fast that is also known as the alternate day fast if you do it back to back, can help break an OMAD or any weight loss plateau. Why? Because you're getting maximum fat burning at 36 hours of fasting. And this is a fast I want to start taking advantage of. I want to start doing more 36-hour fasts, and it gets me so excited. So I was reading in Dr. Mindy Pelz's book where she talked about people who have resistant weight loss or they've been doing OMAD for a while and they hit a plateau. That's why one of the advices I gave in one of my, I've done so many videos on OMAD. If you ever hit an OMAD plateau and let's say you're eating OMAD in a regular way with carbs, first what you can do is cut out your carbs, do keto. If you hit a plateau with keto, you got some resistance going on. Then the next step is to go into a longer fast. And there's no need to do a 48. Go to a 36-hour fast and you will see some massive results on the scale. So it's a great fast to break resistant weight loss. It helps to minimize weight loss resistance, release stored sugar, which is key, and reduce cholesterol. So she says in the book that a study looked at alternate day fasting. So 36 hours of fasting is the minimum amount of fasting you do for an alternate day fast. And it found that after the 30 days, people fasted for 30 days doing alternate day fasting. It's like one of the biggest studies that has been done on fasting. And they found that when after doing that alternate day fasting for 30 days, ketones were continually produced during the 12-hour eating window. So basically, alternate day fasting, I believe, fast for 36 hours. I'm not like a pro at this. I just know of it because I don't do it a lot, but it's something I do want to do. And you eat in the 12-hour eating window and you eat at maintenance. So basically, they noticed no matter what these people ate, they were still producing ketones after doing ADF for 36 hours. Cholesterol levels are reduced, and 36 hours, sorry, 30 days. After doing ADF for 30 days, they noticed that when people would eat their meals normally, they would still produce ketones. Their cholesterol levels were reduced, and inflammation was fought, which is why I love it, because I do have inflammation on this side of my body. Also, the beautiful thing about the 36-hour fast is that belly fat. OMAD does it too, but yes, it's easy to hit a plateau with OMAD I would say after months and months of doing it. But belly fat, belly fat, belly fat. Getting rid of that belly fat. Like, who doesn't want to get rid of that belly fat? You can also do it with fiber. Mine's been going down. It's going down slower, but it's going down. Fiber helps with that, but belly fat, like, who doesn't want to have a flat stomach? Who doesn't want to get rid of, and it's not only for aesthetics, it's for health, because belly fat or holding fat around your midsection makes you predisposed to so many disease. And it's also a sign of metabolic disease when you hold a lot of fat around your midsection. And I want to talk about metabolic disease very quickly because I know there are skinny people out there who hold fat around their stomach. My mom, she's not overweight at all, but she holds fat around her stomach. There are someone commented on my channel from South Africa. I remember she was pretty lean and she told me her weight in kilograms and I translated it to pounds, and she was having issues with belly fat. And it's honestly, 36-hour fast is great for that. And it's a good fat to help release stored sugars. And it says here, sometimes when people fast, their blood glucose levels go up. And this is because stored sugar. And many women won't see lasting weight loss results until they get rid of the excess stored sugar. So this used to happen to me in my early stages of fasting. When I first started fasting, I was 220 pounds. I remember there were a few times where when I did a 48-hour fast once and I didn't lose any weight. I was so mad. I was like, oh my God. I was shocked. Why? I had so much stored sugar in my system. Sugar is stored in fat cells. It's stored obviously in the glycogen and all of that. It's stored in the muscle, but muscle uses up pretty quickly. If you want your sugar to be stored anywhere, you want it to be stored in the muscle because it's going to be used up very quickly. But I had so much stored sugar when I did a 48-hour fast, I didn't lose weight. If you're ever in a situation where you do an extended fast and you don't lose weight, keep fasting because you have a lot of excess sugar in there. And the 36-hour fast is great for that. That's why ADF is great for that, doing alternate day fasting. And basically, she says, if this has happened to you, another thing happened to me once. I did a 36-hour fast and then I tested my blood sugar and my glucose level went up. I remember Dr. Mindy Pals had like a little template to follow. I always used to follow it. I talk about it in my fasting diaries playlist. You can see it below, but not below. I'll link it below, but it's in my playlist group. It's called Fasting Diaries. I remember I did a 36-hour fast and I checked my blood sugar levels and they went up. And then I went to 48 and they went up. And my ketones like stayed the same. And what Dr. Mindy Pell said to do, based on her videos I would watch, she probably goes into it in the book. She says, continue fasting until you get those blood sugar down. For most people, that should go down up to 72 hours. Once you hit the maybe 60, 72-hour fast mark, that should go down. But yeah, 36 hours is good for releasing excess fast sugar. If you are struggling with that, keep doing 36-hour fasts. Maybe look into alternate day fasting to help. I didn't write down the next, so we're gonna go to the book. But I see that the chat is my incense burned out, is moving. So I'm gonna go to the chat for now. Oops, I thought I clicked on it. 36 hours is my next goal. You'll find that after doing a few 24-hour fasts, you jump into 36, it'll be easy for you. 36-hour fast is a good fast. Not only for the weight loss or the fat loss, you're in autophagy longer. You're producing ketones longer. You're in that state of healing your gut longer, which is going to help heal your mental health or help your mental health out. So that's crazy. Did I talk about that fast? Oh, I didn't even talk about that fast. That's the next fast, the mental health fast. It's actually called the dopamine reset fast. That's 48. We'll get to that in a second. Oh my, I wouldn't have been so shocked after a 48 fast if nothing happened. For you, oh my, I wouldn't have been so, you wouldn't have? Oh, you would have. Gotcha. I see you. Yeah, I was just like, I'm like, wow, I'm really metabolically ill. So I just kept fasting and fasting. Now when I do a 48-hour fast, that will never happen because I got rid of those. God knows where my body was. Well, it was my gut because that's where my weight came on. My weight came on in my gut. There are some in my legs too and my back. I tend to hold a lot of fat in my back, but the gut and the liver. I have fatty liver. Forgot about that. Hey Ron, welcome. Welcome to the live stream. Nice to see you here. I hope you're doing well. I hope recovery is going well with your hip surgery and everything. Home rehabbing, the new hip, not much walking outside. Rehab, take care of yourself. You just had a major procedure done. You will heal up. Hang in there. You've done this before. This is your second hip surgery, so you will heal up. You know what to do, Ron. You know what to do. So the next fast I want to get into is the 48-hour fast, also known as the dopamine. Why is this TV turning on? This is so weird. Oh my gosh, that's creepy. The TV just turned on for no reason. Am I sitting on the remote? Ugh. I don't know why it turned on. I just don't want it in my background, but I don't feel like getting up and figuring that out. That was weird. So the next fast I want to talk about is the 48-hour fast, and that is the dopamine reset fast. So this is where Dr. Mindy Pell says in the book that this is the length of fast that I would consider as a mental health boost. As mentioned previously, fasting can repair dopamine receptor sites, creating new dopamine receptor sites and improve your dopamine pathways. So basically what happens, we get saturated with dopamine, social media, mainly social media, let's be honest here. And when we are saturated with dopamine, we don't respond to our dopamine receptors well. So we don't feel life. Life feels mundane. We feel depressed. We feel like nothing will make us happy. The regular things we do, I've had this before, where even working out wouldn't make me happy. So when I get to that point, or I wouldn't feel like working out, I just don't feel like anything. When I get to that point, that's where I'm like, you know what? Let's do a 48-hour fast. And every time I do a fast and I get on the other end of the fast, I feel better. Now, the dopamine reset fast, the benefits of resetting your dopamine receptors happens weeks afterwards, but it does happen. I was reading here. So yeah, it helps to lower anxiety levels. It's a benefit of it. Reboot dopamine levels. So when you are in a state of anxiety, basically your brain is operating from the part of your brain that's known as the amygdala. I think it's called the amygdala. And the amygdala is basically the part of your brain that controls fight or flight. So when you're in a constant state of anxiety, that's what's happening. Your primitive mind is going on. The reptilian brain is going on. And to help combat that, me personally, it's exercise. But when exercise ain't working, you can do a 48-hour fast. And a 48-hour fast will help because it increases the amount of the neurotransmitter GABA. And GABA is a neurotransmitter that basically helps calm your brain. You can take GABA pills, but I honestly believe in letting your body produce it itself. So that's like the calming neurotransmitter. So you start to get that being produced at 36 hours of fasting, and then it maxes out at 48. So that can help with people who struggle with anxiety, according to the research and to my own experience. Like, God, I don't know if I explained to you guys, I used to be riddled with anxiety badly. I've worked through it. It took years, but I didn't give up. I worked through it. I didn't take any medication personally because medication made me go, hoo-ha. So I worked through it. My gosh, I'm just looking back at how much anxiety I had. It's still there. It's only there at the gym when there's too many people around, but that has to do with my concussion. But before, I couldn't leave the house. Anxiety. I just didn't want to leave the house. I was riddled, I was crippled by it. And it didn't help that I was eating fast food and garbage food. That's not going to help your anxiety either. When you're trying to fix your mental health and work on your mental health, I'm telling you this, it's so important to eat a healthy diet. It's so important to stay away from the garbage food. It's so important to get outside and exercise. Go for a walk. Going for a walk can help anxiety as well. So, yeah, so there are two ways that the 48-hour fast does that. Again, it increases GABA, and 48-hour fast helps your brain accomplish both these tasks. Wait, what's the other task? Okay, there are two ways. Oh, it does this by stimulating your prefrontal cortex and producing GABA. So when you stimulate the prefrontal cortex, that's the part of your brain that is the wise mind. I learned this in therapy. The part of your brain that's thinking, that's rational. It's not the lower. I don't want to call it lower because there's a reason why we have the amygdala, I think it's called, part of our brain. It's to protect us. Like, it's there, anxiety, cavemen living in the desert or wherever the heck we lived back in the human times, or living, in like frosted Europe trying to run away from Neanderthals, or living in Africa trying to run away from Denisonians, which is the other Neanderthal like human thing. Like, yeah, we needed that. Like, we needed the anxiety to alert us to danger from the lions and tigers. We need that part of our brain. But now we don't need it as much. But it's so stimulated because we are not living according to our genetic code. Okay, I've been talking for 50 minutes. Wow, that's good. I enjoy doing this. This is fun. I love this. I've always wanted to be a professor. In like teaching science. I love teaching complex scientific topics to a generalized audience. I loved it when we did it in like science class, in microbiology class. We would have the task of doing that. So I enjoy doing this. I do. Oh, I just love learning this stuff because when I learn it, I find it helps me to stay on track with weight loss, with mental health, with taking care of myself. That's how I'm going to get into cold. Oh, I can do a cold bath now. Not that I want to, but I've been advised to by, what do you call it? By my massage therapist, who I'm actually seeing today, just to help with my injuries and do some Wim Hof breathing. Again, Wim Hof is the Iceman. Yeah, I don't want to, but I think it will help me out. And then be in the sauna a lot. But yeah, I couldn't do a cold bath because, again, the week before your cycle, Dr. Mindy Pelz doesn't recommend doing it. She says you should do the cold bath during the times that you want to push things. So now, for me now, day 1 of my cycle to like day 10, things where you want to push your energy and stuff. So I think I want to do that. But yeah, I enjoy doing this. Like, I really do enjoy doing this. So it didn't feel like it was 51 minutes or 53 minutes. So yeah, 48-hour fast is good for the mental health fast. So I'm just going to go look at the chat. Daniela, I'm new and I want to know if you still drink the salt water while fasting. Yes. And welcome. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I do. It's so important. I usually take 1 big cup in the morning. It depends on what fast I'm doing. So if I'm doing OMAD, yes, I take it in the morning. If I don't, I get headaches. My appetite isn't suppressed and I get less energy. You need the electrolytes, the sodium, potassium, because that's important to help your cells do normal cellular processes, to make you move around and live. That's why electrolytes are important. Electrolytes are also important if you exercise a lot too, not just with fasting, or if you're in a calorie deficit. It's important to take electrolytes. But the best way to take electrolytes, if you're fasting, of course, you have to make an electrolyte drink. But honestly, the best way to take in electrolytes is with food. I've been eating a lot of bananas lately. It's been the best tip that my physio gave me because it's really working. It's just the potassium in there. Avocados, which I need to buy some. That's a great way to get in electrolytes. Because the best way to get in electrolytes is to funnel it in with your food. That's why I said when you do OMAD, you want to sprinkle your food with sodium, potassium, so it stays in your body better that way, as opposed to just drinking it. Because our body naturally, you want to take things with food easier. But if you're fasting, obviously not. Bone broth is a great way to get in electrolytes as well. So yeah, it's important to take your electrolytes, especially if you're doing OMAD or any length of fasting consecutively. Now, if you're dry fasting, I was watching Jamal's video, Get It Right with Jamal, I think it's called, or Jamal Get It Right, something like that. He did a dry fast and he was dry scooping electrolytes. People do it that way. I don't know if I can do that. When I dry fast, I don't take anything because I think it's easier to dry, but that's a different story. Anyway, yes, it's important to take electrolytes. Celine Ferocious says, I switched from thinking about the aesthetics and more about mental health benefits. Yes, that is such a key. Thank you for mentioning this. So many people get caught up in looking at themselves in the mirror. They put on a bit of weight or they have a lot of weight to lose. I've done this before. I still battle with this and I'm trying to be like, this is about health. And we look and we're like, oh my gosh, I don't like how I look. I hate this. I'm going to fast my way into doing this, or I'm going to diet my way. No, this is about health. The excess stomach fat or the excess fat is just your body doing its job. That's what Dr. McNeil said. I love how she said that. She's like, it's just your body doing its job. It was just storing excess resources for the future because that's how the human body was designed. We weren't designed in an area of like plentiful food. So it's literally just our body just trying to protect us. So now we're going to be kind to our body and be like, okay, this excess fat is no longer serving us because it's harming our mental health. It is harming our ability to do physical activity. It is harming our ability to do well. It's going to be a predecessor for life expectancy and lifespan. So we want to, do our body good and get rid of that fat. So you got to think of it in a healthy way, in a health way. This is all about health. It's not about anything else. It's about health. The aesthetics come along with it, but don't focus so much on the aesthetics. Don't focus so much on looking in the mirror and not liking what you see. You got to kind of love yourself into losing weight. I'm not saying a fat positive thing, like love yourself. Well, that's changing currently because I was seeing Michelle McDaniel's video popped up on my timelines. Apparently, a lot of the fat acceptance folks are starting to lose weight. They're starting to diet. And I hope so because I know of people in their 40s who have dropped because of obesity, diabetes, or who are like incapacitated because of these things. People who've died from obesity related cancers or whatnot. So health, man, we all want this for health. And as Augie Silver Fitness was saying in Christian Quick Fit, I did a live stream with them once. And it's about health span. There are many people who are obese who are living into their 60s and some in the 70s, but their health span is low. What is your health span? Your ability to get around and do things, not needing assistance living. You want to be as mobile as possible. Like, I want to grow up old and be mobile. Like Kirsten Quickfit's mom. I don't know how old she is, but she's moving around. Even Kirsten Quickfit, she's a boomer, and I believe she's 60. She recently turned 60. Look how active she is. I want to be like that old guy who's like 90 years old and he's doing his bodybuilding show. Like, I'm not going to do a bodybuilding show, but I want to be like healthy, and muscle mass is important to all of this. You don't need an obscene amount of muscle mass. Like, just enough lean muscle mass is enough. But yes, this is about health and mental health more than anything, because I struggle with it a lot, and I know you do too as well, Celine. Like, this is literally for my mental health. I always say this is all for my mental health. That is the motivation for me, because being crippled by depression and anxiety is not fun. It's not fun. It's hard. It's really hard. And that's what we're doing this for, is for our mental health. Hey, Ron. Hey, Daniela. Hey, everyone. Oh, oops. Don't. Oh, thanks. Amygdala. That's it. It is. Thank you. Thank you. It's amygdala. I knew I was saying that wrong. Amygdala. It's amygdala. It's amygdala. Thank you. The amygdala. Yeah. I said, yeah, I knew I was pronouncing it wrong. Thanks for that. Wim Hof. It's amazing how much breath can affect your nervous system. I know. I would know, because when I hit my head and got that concussion, my parasympathetic, wow, I can't talk right now. My parasympathetic nervous system was a mess. And I was doing lots of breathing and this like parasympathetic nervous system massage, just like my therapist taught me, just to calm it down. So I was in a constant state of flight or fight. It's much better now. I still have a lot of work to do. That's why I'm doing meditations from the app Gaia. I posted it on my community page today. They had like a hypno thing about sugar addiction. That was random. but probably because the phone heard me talk. The phone's listening to us. Oop. I don't know if that will be copyrighted. But I've been listening to a lot of stuff on here, just sounds. YouTube has all this stuff too, just to calm me down. Because when we are in that state of fight or fight, like I mentioned it before, we are going to put our self in a state of dis-ease. And no organism is designed to be that stressed 24/7. Like I look at my dog. She may be stressed for a second and then she gets rid of it. And now she's just sleeping all day, So it's so important to bring that down because that's when we just come into disharmony with our body. And I want more people to be in harmony with their body because the more people we have healthy, the happier world we have. And we won't have psychopaths out there trying to make everyone miserable as they are. Like there's too many of people like that walking around lately. Like we ought to try like heal ourselves, or people who are causing division. Like this whole stupid thing, I could go into it, this whole red pill space, all these people like, making content like attacking women. Listen, I don't blame the whole thing. That has to do with the whole like issues that was pushed on with the extremism, with the whole feminist thing that got way overboard. That has to do with that. So like men are pushing back and now there's a divide between men and women. Like the best person who answered that the best was, I was listening to Andrew Schultz's podcast, and Akash, he was talking about these red pill guys and how they're hating women. He's like, I'm happy. I'm in a happy relationship with my wife, so I don't need to watch this content. And I just started laughing. And so is Andrew Schultz. Like he loves his wife and stuff. So like all this like divide, women that, men that, like I don't like it. I don't like the divide stuff. Like it's just stop. Like that's just creating chaos. Like not every woman is a certain way. Not every man is a certain way. Can we look at people as individuals, for God's sake? I don't get why people generalize so much. They're just like they're like people who listen to that content constantly, because I dived into that content to figure out what's going on. Like I would watch these stupid podcasts and be like, okay, I've had enough of this. So this is what men are watching and they're becoming all bitter and stuff. Like it's just a little too much. I'm not saying all men. It's just certain. You're just seeing it pop up. It's usually happening with men who recently just got out of a relationship and stuff like that. I've noticed that. I've been watching certain influencers. I need these words today, Daniela. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad. You're very welcome. I have to do one more fast. That is the 72-hour fast. 72 hours to 5 days. This is a fast I need to do. I've done 72, but I want to get to 5 days. So this is known as the immune system reset fast. And this fast is so important because this is where you get full-on healing. Autophagy is maxed out here. You're getting stem cells released, not just in the gut, but systematically. What does she say here? It can help ease a chronic condition, So injuries and stuff, even mental health. It can help prevent chronic disease, alleviate pain and stiffness, and relentless muscular skeletal injuries. My psoas that's still tight after giving birth to my son, and my pelvic floor. I'm fighting. My physio told me something the other day. She's like, good for you. She's like, many people would have given up by now. She's like, it's been almost 10 years and you still have the pain from when you gave birth to him. She's like, the fact that you felt that pain through an epidural and through all the drugs you're on, something happened. I'm finally going to now that I'm getting a shoulder MRI, I found an MRI place. It's expensive, but this one's cheaper. They allow me to pay a couple extra $100 to do another part of my body. So I'm going to go talk to my doctor tomorrow and get her to look at my damn psoas muscle, because even my physiatrist has come to the conclusion it's affecting my hip. We need to go to the root cause of things. So I'm going to finally get something to look at my psoas muscle, because I'm pretty sure it was torn off it wasn't torn off the bone. Is it? The psoas is a weird muscle. It was just damaged after giving birth to my son, because the pain I've dealt with was unfreaking real. And it's still here to this day. It's better, but it has gotten better, and it's been 10 years. And a lot of doctors don't look at the psoas muscle. They just neglect it because it's such a weird injury to have. It's not a very common injury. So I'm going to get an MRI on that damn muscle. And if there's something wrong with it and they can freaking fix it, I will be happy. I constantly have pain in my glutes. I'm sitting down right now and I can feel my left glute is just on fire. Like, that's why I can't sit down for long. I have to be standing and moving up. Like my left glute just tightens up. My left hip just tightens up, and then it's affecting my ability to rehab my knee. So, yes, this car accident might be a blessing in disguise because it's finally going to get me to look at that. I don't know. I've given up on the healthcare system because I don't understand why you can't figure this out. Like, I've been in pain for too long. Thank you, thank goodness. Thank you, Jesus, for me not going down a bad road with medication, because I can easily go to a chronic pain clinic and get any med I want, but I refuse to it. I refuse. Like right now, I'm using Advil, Tylenol, Combogesic, which is a combination of Advil and Tylenol. I will use it just to bring down the inflammation. I don't like to because then my stomach gets pissed off. But let's go back to the 72-hour fast, because apparently this fast can definitely help with dealing with stubborn musculoskeletal issues. And Dr. Mindy Pels is a big advocate for fasting no longer than 5 days. I agree. I don't think anyone needs to fast longer than 5 days. I've seen people do 10, whatever. I think that's a little too extreme unless you're really, really sick. I don't know, but I think 5 days is good enough. And it's a fast I want to do once to help with these nagging musculoskeletal issues. It can also help with the arthritis I have in my knee. Yeah, I can still work out with arthritis I have. It's not arthritis yet. It's pre-arthritis. I don't know what they call it. It's starting to. There's degenerative changes. But my physio said I can prevent it by building the muscle, which is why I'm going into the wellness division. Hello. My legs are going to be, if you think you've seen them muscular now, they're about to get really muscular. I'm pushing my legs. I'm going to do wellness. So that's why if I have shoulder surgery, I just do a bunch of body weight squats and lunges and RDLs, body weight, one-legged squats. You can do a whole bunch and still keep the muscle for 6 weeks. I love body weight work. But anyway, it can help ease a chronic condition. It can help revitalize stem cells that are able to find injured body parts and make them anew again. That's what I need. People pay money for stem cells. I don't have like $50,000 to pay for stem cells. I kind of wish I was able to keep the stem cells from my own birth of my son. I don't know why you're not able to, but that's a different story. But yeah, I definitely want to get to a 5-day fast. I really do. And preferably when I have less, like now, because I don't want to do it with all this muscle. It's going to be hard. But yes. So yeah, it can help prevent chronic disease. But that is a good fast. It's an immune system reset fast. It helps your immune system. And it's also an anti-aging fast. So those are the 5 fasts or 6 fasts Dr. Mindy Pels goes through. Number 1 is the intermittent fast. Just a quick recap. That is between 12 and 16 hours of fasting. The benefits are weight loss, improved insulin resistance, reducing C-reactive protein. And then there's number 2, autophagy fasting for 17 hours or more. The longer you fast is between 17 hours and 72. Autophagy maxes out at 72 hours. And that is good for autophagy, good for mitochondria healing. Next fast after that is the 24-hour fast. That is the gut reset fast. That is the fast where you start producing stem cells in your gut. And then there's some mental health benefits. That's when GABA starts being produced, I believe. But there will be gut benefits with it, or mental health benefits with it, because you're producing stem cells in your gut. You're healing your gut. There's the brain-gut barrier, serotonin's produced in the gut. So if you're healing the gut, you're helping your mental health. And then the 36-hour fast, the fat burning fast, that's when you're getting adequate fat burning. It's a great fast to do to help unstuck weight loss. So to help deal with resistant weight loss plateaus, to help someone who's maybe done OMAD for a long time, and to help them break a plateau, because that can happen on OMAD, because your body can get adapted after a while of doing OMAD. And it's also a good fast for getting rid of deep storage sugar and dealing with resistant weight loss, which is what I said. Next fast after that, fast number 4, is the dopamine reset fast. That's a good fast, also known as the mental health fast. It helps to reset your dopamine stores. That's when you're getting GABA produced. In around 36 to 48 hours, you get GABA being produced. And GABA is the neurotransmitter that calms things down. And yeah, that's a good fast for resetting your dopamine reset, just to help with mental health and the whole lot. And then after that, it's the 72-hour fast, which is the immune system reset fast. Great fast to help reset your immune system. It's 72 hours to 5 days, she says. So that's a good fast to help deal with musculoskeletal issues. Now I'm going to quickly go over the fast mimicking diets. Number one, the autophagy fast mimicking diet. You are basically eating between 800 and 1,000 calories a day. You're getting most of your calories from fat. You're keeping your protein at 20 grams or less. This is a fast. Remember, it's a fast mimicking. Obviously, protein, there's a place for everything, okay? Because I don't want people getting confused. Well, you're supposed to eat high protein, lose weight. Yes, but this is a specific kind of protocol, and you're not going to do it for too long. There's also the PSMF fast, the protein sparing modified fast. And this is a fast where you are basically eating lots of lean protein. You're getting it from lean protein. Your protein's pretty much unlimited, capped at 800 calories per day. You are keeping your fats low and your carbohydrates low. So it's just a fast that basically puts protein as a priority. So the protein shake fast that Julie does, you can actually call that PSMF because it's high protein. Another fast mimicking fast is the 5-2 fast, which is what Dr. Mosley talked about, eating normally throughout the week, and then 2 days you're restricting your calories or you're fasting, restricting the 800 fast diet, it's called. That's another fast mimicking diet. Honorable mentions are alternate day fasting, which is basically doing 36-hour fast back to back to back. OMAD is a diet where you're fasting for 20 hours. Real OMAD, Dr. Mindy Pell says real OMAD is 24 hours of fasting and eating a small meal. There's variations of it, obviously, as I mentioned. And another fast carnivore. Carnivore diet is a fast. I'd consider a fast. You're fasting from carbohydrates. I would say you're fasting from non-fiber carbohydrates. So that's a form of fasting. You're just getting rid of carbs. You're prioritizing fats and proteins. So that's a carbohydrate fast. And yeah, I would highly recommend anyone doing carnivore have those avocados, have that fiber. So yeah, I'm gonna look at the chat now. Oh, I see. Red pill community is sad. Lonely men making sure they stay lonely and distracting themselves by playing the victim and being angry. Yeah, it's pretty bad. And there are women versions of those communities as well, where you're like, you call it feminism? I don't know. Listen, feminism was great, and then it got crazy in the last 10 years. I don't know what happened. Like, I like the women right to vote. I believe in that, of course. Women, like, if they want the choice to enter the workforce, all of that. But then it just got a little too crazy. But yeah, the red pill community is a bunch of lonely, angry men, and there are men who play on it, So I'm not a big fan of the red pill community. I think a lot of the stuff they say is not true. I look at people around me and I'm like, nah, nah. But yeah, I used to trust Dr. Berry, but since he started talking about how tanning beds are healthy, I don't know what to think. Tanning helped my seasonal affective disorder in winter. Mixed messages. Wait, are healthy or not healthy? Did he say they're not healthy? Well, alternative to tanning is red light therapy. Like, the thing about tanning, I don't know. It depends. Like, there's the whole, like, skin cancer thing. But if it honestly helps you deal with SAD, then go through it. But don't take one thing he says and think that, he doesn't have good advice. Dr. Berry does have good advice. But there are certain videos where I'm like, okay, calm down. Like, he goes a little bit extreme. Like, you have to understand, when you're watching someone on YouTube or anywhere, you got to take what you can from them, because there are certain things you'll agree with and there are certain things you can't. So you just got to take value out of what you can, apply it to yourself, and, make it happen for you. But yeah, I think you mean they said they're not healthy. If tanning helps your seasonal affective disorder, tan, do it, tan. And yeah, the mixed messages can be confusing. I'm trying to avoid that on my channel. I don't think, like, if I say something that's opposite, I usually try to explain why. Like when I say, oh, high protein is the way to lose weight. But if you're doing an autophagy fast or keto, you got to keep your protein low. Like, there's different, like, situations, like, that you have to explain it, Right now I'm doing high protein because I'm not doing keto every day. When I do keto, we lower the protein. But yeah, or if you're doing the protein sparing fast diet. Anyway, I don't think he's investing in tanning. Oh, keep an open mind. If it's helping your SAD, maybe that's some evidence that it has benefits. And that's another thing. Try something out. If it works for you, it works for you. You know, if that's your truth, that's your truth. Just because someone on the internet says it's not true doesn't mean it's not true for you. Like we can't like take what people say again too hard on the internet. People are just going to talk, and you have to understand people do things to either get a rise out of people. Those are pretty lonely, pathetic people who do that, or people do things for views. That's the key thing. Majority of people who are sane do things for views. They'll say things for views if they're into the carnivore community, because I think that's what Dr. Barry is. Because he was talking about, I think I saw a video where he's like, fruits are bad, blah, blah, blah. You know, that's why I like Dr. Mindy Pelz, because she's so objective. She's like, I'm not against carbs. I'm not for fasting all the time. You need to have balance. Like, I like her, you know. She's against calories, but she's like, there's one point where she talks about calories. She mentioned this before. She's like, calories do matter in this case. And she talks about the thyroid. The thyroid does not like it when you go under 1,000 calories for too long. So she's like, for thyroid health, make sure you're keeping your calories to 1,200 or more. So she did make that exception, but she explained why, because of thyroid health. And she's like, that's probably the only place where I would tell you to count your calories. I still think counting calories is essential, but again, I believe every calorie from different types of macronutrients are processed differently. And I think going the macro approach is the way to go. And that's what I think I'll be doing. I think I'm going to start ditching calories and counting my macros. Whatever my girl Marcella tells me, I'm going to switch that to MyFitnessPal. Because if I count my macros, it's going to help translate to other things. But counting macros is essentially counting your calories as well. You're just looking at the macronutrient number. I want to look at things in terms of macros because that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be a bodybuilder. Thank you, iCarnivore. I think his point was not to be scared of UV as long as you don't get burned. Yeah, you got to watch out for the excess burns. But weird to see a doc say tanning. Oh, he said it's fine. Ah, okay. He said it's fine. Yeah, fair enough. But it's also weird to see a doctor say eat meat only, and that's Dr. Barry. Like, I think doctors are opening up. I say it's weird because a doctor, if I go to a doctor now, they would never tell me that. You know what I mean? And he is a physician. So Dr. Barry has helped a lot of people. He's big on the whole, he talks about rosacea and stuff. So that has helped a lot of people. Sun definitely helps with SAD. It does. People in northern climates have way more SAD than people in more places. For sure. For sure. I agree, Daniela, about taking the best advice. Yeah, you have to literally take what you can from people, for sure. Ooh, vitamin D and magnesium helped. I believe that. My seasonal affective disorder. I believe that for sure, Celine. Yeah, I haven't really been dealing it. Last year was really bad for me, my SAD. Well, I was going through a lot last year, let's be honest. This year, it hit me when I couldn't leave my house when we had like, I don't know what the hell we had. We had a mini ice age, let's just call it that, where my car was frozen and I couldn't exercise. I didn't want to do home workouts because I was just like stressed. I couldn't get food and I was spending all this money on like delivery services, grocery delivery services. But since that passed, I'm okay now. I'm okay. So yeah, and I think I am taking a lot of vitamin D. I am stuffing my face with magnesium pills, mainly for my headaches, but it's actually helping other things out for sure. I like most of Dr. Minnie's advice, specifically for women, but I don't like that she implies she's an MD. She's a chiropractor like Dr. Berg. That doesn't mean she doesn't know what she's saying. No, I agree. And that's like Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's also a chiropractor. I thought he was an actual doctor. I'm like, what's the deal with these chiropractors saying they're doctors? So now, like when you see doctors on YouTube that are real, like Dr. Robert Lusting, MD, he's actually an MD talking about fructose sugar addiction and the whole, thing. I learned from him, an actual MD. So there's two types of MDs. There's MDs that do clinical practices. So I think that's Dr. Barry. He was a clinical. And then there's MDs that do research. That's Dr. Robert Lusting. If I wanted to be a doctor, if I was ever a doctor, I would be a research doctor. I want to do like studies. I like doing studies. I like the investigation and seeing things in actions. I think that's the fun part because then you can really help people with studies for sure. But yeah, I know. I've noticed that the chiropractors do that. Um, no judgment. But yeah, she knows what she's talking about. I don't really watch Dr. Berg. I never really got into him. I think it's just personality wise, I didn't click with him. I've watched a few of his videos, but I'm not really into Dr. Berg. But I've heard he's helped a lot of people. He's given advice and stuff. But yeah, I'm more of a Mindy Pell's girl, who I got introduced to it by Michaela Peterson. Michaela Peterson was the one who introduced me to everybody because she went through hell, still going through hell with, well, not still, she still has to eat carnivore. She tried to, anything that strays her off, she gets ill. I feel so bad for her. She's had a rough life, but she's created this beauty for herself. So good for her. But yeah, I've learned a lot from her because I saw her all meat diet. I was like, what is this? It was just weird. And then I learned more and more about it for sure. But yeah, I just want to remind you guys, make sure you hit that like button as it helps me out. Thank you so much for joining me on this live stream. This is a long one. It's been an hour and 20 minutes. I enjoyed dishing out all of the scientific info. I enjoyed helping you guys where I can. But for now, oh yeah, I got to finish making my little beet salad. But thank you so much for being here. I'm honored. Send you guys mad love. Take care. Bye. Yes, I'm glad too, Celine. Glad we got to hang. Take care.